Welcome to Star Bios, where we delve into the fascinating lives of Hollywood's most captivating stars. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a true original, the incomparable Jonathan Winters. Born on November 11, 1925, in Dayton, Ohio, Jonathan Winters was the only child of Alice and John Winters, a banker with a passion for music and a kind heart. Their comfortable middle-class home, nestled in the heart of the city, was filled with laughter, love, and encouragement. As a child, Jonathan's eyes sparkled with wonder as he explored the world around him, fascinated by the vibrant colors, sounds, and textures that seemed to come alive in his imagination. His parents, recognizing his innate creativity and enthusiasm, supported his artistic inclinations from a young age, providing him with art lessons, encouraging him to explore his imagination, and nurturing his love for performance. As a young boy, Jonathan spent hours listening to radio shows, mesmerized by the likes of Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and the Marx Brothers, whose comedic genius and innovative storytelling inspired him to develop his own unique brand of humor. The Winters family would often gather around the radio, laughing together at the antics of the Jack Benny program and the Edgar Bergen Show, which featured talented comedians and actors who would later become Jonathan's friends and mentors. These early experiences sparked a fire within him, fueling his passion for comedy and performance. Growing up in the 1930s and 1940s, Jonathan was influenced by the vibrant cultural landscape of the time. He was captivated by the vaudeville shows that traveled through Dayton, featuring talented performers like W.C. Fields and Mae West. The ornate theaters, with their plush red seats and gilded balconies, seemed like magical kingdoms to Jonathan, where anything was possible and laughter knew no bounds. As he watched these performances, he began to develop his own comedic style, studying the timing, tone, and physicality of the performers. Jonathan's childhood was also marked by a strong sense of curiosity and adventure. He spent hours exploring the woods behind his family's home, collecting leaves, rocks, and other natural treasures that he would later use in his art. The forest floor, with its soft, earthy scent and dappled sunlight, became his own personal playground where he could let his imagination run wild. This early connection with nature would remain a lifelong source of inspiration for Jonathan, who often incorporated elements of the natural world into his comedy routines and artistic creations. As Jonathan entered his teenage years, he began to develop his skills as a performer, joining the school drama club and participating in local talent shows. His parents, eager to nurture his talents, enrolled him in the Dayton Art Institute, where he studied art and design under the guidance of talented instructors like Ralph Lettner. This early training would lay the foundation for Jonathan's future success as a comedian, actor, and artist, as he learned to harness his creativity and bring his unique vision to life. The historical context of Jonathan's early years was also significant, as America navigated the challenges of the Great Depression and World War II. The Winters family, like many others, faced economic uncertainty and rationing, but they also found ways to make do with what they had, relying on their creativity and resourcefulness to get by. Jonathan's mother, Alice, would often repurpose old materials to create new clothes, furniture, or decorations, teaching her son the value of thriftiness and adaptability. These lessons would later influence Jonathan's comedy, as he often incorporated themes of resilience, frugality, and making the most of what you have into his routines. As Jonathan approached adulthood, he began to feel the pull of the entertainment industry, drawn to the bright lights and big stages of New York City and Hollywood. With his parents' blessing, he set out to pursue his dreams, armed with a portfolio of his artwork, a quick wit, and an insatiable desire to make people laugh. As Jonathan Winters set out to pursue his dreams in the entertainment industry, he found himself drawn to the vibrant world of radio and television, like a moth to a flame. The early 1950s were an exciting time for comedy, with the likes of Jack Benny, Fred Allen, and Bob Hope dominating the airwaves. Jonathan's unique brand of improvisational comedy, which often incorporated characters, sound effects, and witty observations, quickly gained him a loyal following in clubs and theaters across the country. He would often take the stage, his eyes twinkling with mischief, and launch into a routine that would leave audiences in stitches. One of Jonathan's earliest breakthroughs came in 1954, when he appeared on the popular television show, The Gary Moore Show. This exposure helped to establish him as a rising star in the comedy world, and soon he was in high demand. He went on to appear on numerous other shows, including The Tonight Show with Jack Paar and The Ed Sullivan Show, where he became known for his hilarious impressions and characters. Jonathan's performances were always highly anticipated, and his ability to think on his feet and improvise made him a favorite among audiences and fellow performers alike. As he navigated the ups and downs of show business, Jonathan drew inspiration from his childhood in Dayton, Ohio. Growing up in a family that valued creativity and self-expression, Jonathan had developed a keen sense of observation and a quick wit. He would often incorporate stories and characters from his childhood into his routines, regaling audiences with tales of his eccentric relatives and quirky neighbors. This ability to tap into his own experiences and emotions gave Jonathan's comedy a depth and authenticity that resonated with audiences. In 1956, Jonathan released his first comedy album, Jonathan Winters, a very special album, which featured many of the characters and routines that would become his trademark. The album was a huge success, and it helped to cement Jonathan's reputation as one of the most innovative and talented comedians of his generation. The album's cover art, featuring Jonathan's own artwork, added to the sense of whimsy and playfulness that defined his comedy style. As the 1960s dawned, Jonathan continued to push the boundaries of comedy, experimenting with new formats and styles. He became a regular on The Andy Williams Show, where he would often appear in comedic sketches and musical numbers. His performances were always highly anticipated, and his ability to think on his feet and improvise made him a favorite among audiences and fellow performers alike. Jonathan's friendship with Andy Williams, who shared his love of music and comedy, led to some memorable collaborations, including a hilarious sketch in which Jonathan played a hapless musician trying to keep up with the show's tight schedule. In 1961, Jonathan starred in his own television show, The Jonathan Winters Show, which featured a mix of comedy, music, and guest stars. The show was a huge success, and it ran for several seasons, earning Jonathan multiple Emmy nominations. During this time, he also began to explore other creative outlets, including painting and writing. His artwork, which often featured humorous and fantastical scenes, was exhibited in galleries across the country, and his writing was published in numerous magazines and journals. Jonathan's love of art and literature added a new dimension to his comedy, as he began to incorporate more nuanced and sophisticated themes into his routines. Jonathan's relationships with his contemporaries were also an important part of his career. He became close friends with many of the leading comedians and actors of the time, including Sid Caesar, Carl Reiner, and Mel Brooks. These friendships often led to collaborative projects and appearances, and they helped to further establish Jonathan as a major figure in the comedy world. One notable example of Jonathan's collaborative work was his appearance on The Twilight Zone in 1961, where he starred alongside Charles Bronson in an episode called A Game of Pool. This performance showcased Jonathan's dramatic range and his ability to play complex, nuanced characters. It also marked one of the few times that he appeared in a dramatic role, rather than a comedic one. As Jonathan reflected on his career, he often credited his friends and colleagues with helping him to stay grounded and focused. His friendship with Sid Caesar, in particular, had a profound impact on his comedy style, as the two men would often engage in improvisational battles that pushed each other to new heights of creativity. Jonathan's relationships with his fellow comedians also gave him a sense of belonging and camaraderie, which was essential for navigating the ups and downs of show business. Throughout the 1960s, Jonathan continued to innovate and experiment with new forms of comedy. He released several more comedy albums, including Jonathan Winters, Down to Earth, and Jonathan Winters, Here's Jonathan, which featured many of his most famous characters and routines. He also appeared in numerous films, including It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, where he played memorable roles alongside other comedy legends. Jonathan's ability to adapt to different formats and genres made him a versatile and sought-after performer, and his legacy continued to inspire new generations of comedians and actors. As the vibrant decades of the 1970s and 1980s unfolded, Jonathan Winters continued to defy conventions and push the boundaries of comedy with unbridled enthusiasm, his creativity knowing no bounds. He appeared in a diverse array of films, including the quirky The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh and the timeless classic The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, showcasing his remarkable versatility as a performer and cementing his status as a comedic chameleon. His work on television also remained prolific, with notable appearances on iconic shows like The Muppet Show and Saturday Night Live, where he effortlessly blended in with other legendary comedians, creating unforgettable moments that would be etched in the memories of audiences for generations to come. Winters' unique brand of improvisational comedy, characterized by its rapid-fire wit, physical antics, and mesmerizing characterizations, continued to inspire new generations of comedians, including icons like Robin Williams and Jim Carrey. These comedians often spoke about the profound influence Winters had on their work, with Williams once remarking that Winters was the father of us all in terms of improvisational comedy. This sentiment was echoed by Carrey, who has often cited Winters as a major inspiration for his own brand of zany, over-the-top humor. As the 1990s dawned, Winters began to focus more on his painting and writing, producing a series of critically acclaimed art books that showcased his vibrant, whimsical artwork. His paintings, which often featured fantastical creatures, abstract landscapes, and humorous scenes, offered a unique glimpse into the creative mind behind the comedy legend. Exhibiting his work in galleries across the country, Winters' art was met with widespread critical acclaim, with many praising its originality, humor, and technical skill. As he once said, "I'm not a comedian, I'm an artist who happens to be funny," reflecting the deep connection between his comedic genius and artistic expression. This dichotomy was a hallmark of Winters' career, as he effortlessly navigated the worlds of comedy and art, often blurring the lines between the two. Throughout his later years, Winters received numerous awards and accolades for his contributions to comedy and the arts. In 1999, he was honored with the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, recognizing his profound influence on the world of comedy and solidifying his status as one of the most innovative and influential comedians of his generation. Jonathan Winters passed away on April 11, 2013, at the age of 87, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and delight audiences around the world. As news of his passing spread, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry, with comedians, actors, and artists all paying homage to Winters' groundbreaking work and lasting influence. Today, Winters is remembered as one of the most innovative and influential comedians of his generation, a true original who paved the way for countless others to follow in his footsteps. His work continues to be celebrated and studied by scholars and fans alike, offering a unique window into the creative process and the art of comedy itself. As we look back on Winters' incredible career, it's striking to note the sheer breadth of his influence, which extends far beyond the world of comedy. His innovative approach to improvisation, his fearless willingness to take risks, and his unwavering commitment to creativity have inspired countless artists, writers, and performers across a wide range of disciplines. That's all for today's Star Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Casey Gold, reminding you to keep shooting for the stars.